This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1840. Previews.
Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Adam Murdo.
I'm Ian Levinstein.
I'm Chris Eberly.
Like how you took a mighty swig of your orange soda right as we were getting started there, Chris.
You know, it's a carbonated tonic for the spirit.
Of course. Well, welcome one and all to the show. It is indeed previews time here yet again as we get closer to the mid-month, and that's usually around the time that we throw these things out. It's a little bit earlier than usual this time around, and therefore we are all digital previews people, as nobody's gotten their physical copies of the previous catalog yet, but that will not deter us from going through
Indeed.
and know what we got. This is issue 401 of the previous catalog, by the way. So we're past the 400 mark. And then issue 21 of DC Connect and issue 5, volume, I'm going to say 6 of Marvel previews. I don't know why they renumber it. It always just like throws me off.
It's just the Marvel way, I think.
You're right. Even when it comes to their previews, they got to be like, no, this is new. We promise. It's like, this is literally just previews.
All new, all different.
Exactly.
Marvel Now previews. Definitely. Well, before we get going, we do have a couple of announcements, and I'll hand it over to Murd first for the most prominent of said announcements.
Magnificent.
Murd, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, folks, it is that time of year. It's awards season again, and that means it's time for us to think about our own CGS Best of 2021 awards, where we take a moment to step back, look at the previous year, and single out those comics, creators, and characters that we think constitute the best that comics had to offer in 2021. And you, our listenership, get to be a part of all of this, because now is the time where we start to solicit nominations from you for these completely immaterial awards we give out. You know, there is no monetary award, no prizes whatsoever. It's just accolades, but still it's a chance to shout out additionally some of the best comics and creators of the previous year that we think deserve a little more attention and recognition. So there are 16 categories in which we award best of awards here at CGS. I'm going to read them here on the air once and once only. Assuming I can get them to come up on my screen here. Yes, and after this, we'll be posting them on our forums and also on our Facebook supergroup, so you can take a look for yourselves. The categories are Best New Hero or Hero Team to make their first appearance in 2021, Best New Villain or Villain Team to debut during that time span, Best New Ongoing Comic, the first issue of which shall have shipped in 2021, Best Limited Series, the final issue of which would have shipped in 2021, Best Single Issue or One-shot, Best Cliffhanger or Moment from any story in any comic you'd care to name, Best New Comic, the first issue of which must have shipped in 2021. Oh, I already said that, I'm sorry. Let's see, Best Storyline within a series or across multiple series, so it can be a story arc in an ongoing series or a crossover across multiple. Best Sleeper or Surprise Hit, Best Ongoing Comic, which need not have begun in 2021. This can be a pre-existing series that continued on into the year 2021. Best Graphic Album, that is any kind of collection, trade paperback or hardcover, or an original graphic novel, at your discretion. Best Writer, Best Artist, Best Writer/Artist, one person who does both. Best Color Artist, Best Letterer, that category is still hanging in there, and Breakthrough Talent of 2021, a creator who's really made his or her name, in your opinion, during that year. So there you are. Those are the 16 categories. If you'd like to participate in the nominations process, please put together a slate of nominees in at least 8, preferably all 16, but at least 8 of those 16 categories. Please nominate only one person, place, or thing in each category. No ties or toss-ups. And once you've figured that all out, you type it into an email and email it to bestof@comicgeekspeak.com by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, March 13th. We're giving you guys a full month here to think about this year.
Indeed. Yep.
So once you do that, we will tally up all the nominations. Each of us, the geeks who are participating in this, will make our own nominations in each of these categories. And then whichever nominees in each category receive the greatest number of nominations from you, the listeners. It could be more than one in the case of a tie. We will put them all on the ballot with our own nominations. We will announce them all in a special episode of our podcast sometime in March. And then we will give you guys a couple of weeks to do the final voting on which nominee in each category you think is most deserving of a non-existent Best of award. And then we'll announce the final winners a couple of weeks later than that, sometime around another major award show that'll be taking place towards the end of March. So get out there, think about which comics and creators and characters gave you the most enjoyment during 2021, and be prepared to share that with your fellow CGS listeners and hosts in the weeks to come.
Excellent.
Murd, as always, we always appreciate that you spearhead this. It's a wonderful part of the show.
Oh,
it's my pleasure, Chris. I look forward to it every year myself.
Well, personally, for me, it's not only a way for me to look back, also a way to look forward and see where the comic industry is heading in the upcoming years. So yeah, it's good stuff all around, and I'm looking forward to going through my backlog and being like, oh hey, I like that. I should probably nominate that.
Yep. And we also get a chance to find out what our listeners have been reading that we have completely missed.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. All right, good times. And yeah, like Mike Murd said, you get a full month this time around. And for many a reason, that is the case. As our other big announcement of this episode is that we're essentially taking a 2-week break here. As I at the end of next week am heading on vacation to jolly old England. I'll be in London for about a week, heading out on the 18th of February, and I'll be there until the 24th. So obviously that's going to cut into our recording time, and I don't want to have to rush out episodes and what have you. So instead, we do have 2 episodes queued up that we're going to be releasing. One of which. Chris was on a triad of episodes for Across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast that Ryan Dose, longtime friend of the show and listener of the show, produces. And most recently, him and I were on an episode together of said podcast. So we're going to be releasing that all as one mega episode in the feed for everybody to check out.
Damn good time. Ryan has a great show.
Indeed. And that'll be our next episode after this, released on the feed. And then come the 21st on President's Day, we'll be rerunning the classic Prez episode.
Oh, God.
Comic Geek Speak for all
so
you
good
listeners out there. So anybody who has not heard that episode, you will finally get the opportunity to understand why that is one of our favorites. So good time.
All I'll say is in anticipation, the Groove Room. And we'll leave it at that.
The Groove Room.
And then once we're all said and done and we're convened back together, we'll probably throw out a comic talk out there.
Yes.
Catch you all up on what we've been reading and what we've been doing in the past couple of weeks. So
a safe, lively sojourn, L. Levenstein.
Thank you kindly. One of the things I'm looking forward to the most, which I'll definitely be discussing on the comic talk, is Great Scott! Back to the Future the Musical.
Oh, how we envy you, Ian.
Oh man, yeah. I when I heard it was happening, that's basically how this trip came together, because I was like, all right, it's only in London. I'm making that happen. So good times all around.
Mm-hmm. Although speaking of time machines, during your leave of absence, we may be receiving a transmission from the time bubble.
Even better.
It'll
Excellent.
Yep, lots of goodies for our listeners coming up here. Retro Prez, Across the Beef Roast with you guys, and maybe a little bit of a trip back to 2001 or earlier.
Excellent. Oh,
the
man.
steam in my strides, man. Woo!
Hey, I've got a 7-hour flight back ahead of me. So if I see that one's out, that's immediately going on the phone for download, and I'll be listening to that while I'm relaxing in my flight chair. So well done.
You do me a great honor, Ian.
Excellent. All right, and with that, how about some previews?
Yes.
How about it?
Okay. And before I forget, thank you so much to all you fine listeners over at patreon.com/Comic Geek Speak for keeping the lights on the interwebs and in real life. We could not possibly do this show without you, and your continued support warms our hearts all over. So thank you so much. Patreon.com
Yes.
/Comic Geek Speak. All right. Here we are. It's previews time, and starting off with a lovely Rocketeer.
That is beautiful.
Oh boy, man! And then on the next page, Ninjago. We'll get to both of those in due time. But let's get all the way down here to where we begin. A note that once again, Free Comic Book Day will be happening in May, and there are some more solicitations of Free Comic Book Day here, but I'd say go to your local comic book dealer, or check the web for that, as we did go through a decent amount of them last time around. But Free Comic Book Day will be May 7th this year, and we're back in May for Free Comic Book Day. Things feeling a little bit more normal out there, so good to see that back. And tons of solicitations, some of which have been confirmed. Marvel's still keeping theirs close to the vest because, of course, they are. Now, here we go. Let's start off with Image. Bloodstained Teeth, #1. Starts us off. Another Generation Image release on page 42. Christian Ward and Patrick Reynolds coming out with their vampire-esque new ongoing series. It's a fast-paced 100 bullet style crime saga with fangs.
That tag got my attention.
Most definitely, yeah.
Atticus Sloan, misanthrope, criminal, asshole, and vampire. Okay.
I mean, you could be all those things. Sure, why not?
He's got a little cottage business going, turning people into vampires if they can meet his price. Just notice on the cover image there, the one gold fang here. Ward seems to be exploring vampirism in the context of materialism and just good old-fashioned American avarice.
Good point. Yep, and Christian Ward, no slouch, Eisner Award-winning co-creator of Odyssey, which I remember had
that's right.
very, very good stuff involved with it. Invisible Kingdom and Machine Gun Wizards, and Patrick Reynolds of The Mask. So, looking forward to it. And boy, oh boy, the artwork that they have for preview here. Kind of looks a little bit like Dominic Cooper, ever so slightly. That would be Daddy Stark from the Marvel.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. He was also Preacher.
Yes, he was.
Right.
Yep. That's on 43 there with the and 44 and 45 with the preview pages. We might as well get the Ninjago. For any of you Ninjago fans out there, there's a Ninjago miniseries. I am not one of these humans, but I'm sure that they are indeed out there, as I know that for quite some time, Ninjago was all the rage with the kiddos.
And
my kids have Ninjago Legos,
Yep, they're old enough to have disposable incomes now, those Ninjago fans.
Indeed. This is by Tri Vyong of Everyday Hero Machine Boy. And it's going to be a 5-issue miniseries, and it is indeed a gem of the month in previews. And looking at the artwork, it's kitty and cutesy, but also at the same time lovingly rendered. I like what I see here.
Definite edge of menace here. After all, it is a villain-focused miniseries. So.
Good point. Yep. So that's on page 46 for anybody looking for that. And then Mr. Niles returns for more. Yep. It's a very horror-focused Image so far. A Town Called Terror, #1. with Simon Kudransky on the artwork as well. This is part 1 and a season premiere of a brand new horror title by Steve Niles. The dark paranormal tone of Midnight Mass meets the criminal machinations of a series that I just started finally watching on Netflix, Ozark.
Ozark's a tremendous.
Yep.
I've only watched the first season. I have to keep going, but it's fantastic.
I'm 1 episode away from the season 1 finale at this point.
Okay.
So we're gonna watch as much of it as possible. We took a break to watch Peacemaker. That's next Comic Talk. Goddamn, that show is amazing.
Oh, okay.
Happy to hear it. I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard that the opening sequence is kind of legendary.
The opening sequence, Murd, you are going to be watching on loop.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it is one of the best choreographed dance sequences I've ever seen for an introduction of a show. And I'll leave it at that.
All right.
Yeah,
but totally tantalized.
Indeed. Always good to see Steve Niles putting out new stuff, and that's on page 50.
Yep, a few other writers in comics do horror quite as well.
Mm-hmm. Always the case. And then on page 52, 52! Image number 1 out of Image, a 12-issue miniseries. So this is a 30th anniversary. Damn. 30 years.
And I like how they have the past and the present. So the Youngblood and then Radiant Black.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
On the cover there.
Yep. And we've got Jeff Johns, Declan Shelby, Wyatt Kennedy, Scotty Young, Mirka Adolfo, Brendan Fletcher, and Kyle Higgins all involved on the writing chores of this first issue of this anthology maxi series. And Andrea Moody, Declan Shelby, Luna Vecchi, Mirka Adolfo, Babs Tarr, and Daniel D. Nicuello, all there on the artwork chores. Love to see a company reflecting on its past and its future at the same time like this. And I love anthologies, so this is gonna be right up my alley.
Great cover.
Sounds like it's going to have a greater than usual diversity of content, and greater than Image as usual is going to be great indeed.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. And that's 64 pages right there of content for only $6. This day and age, to say the words only $6. But considering that there's companies that will charge $5 for 24 pages, that is indeed a steal. So enough said. The
Secret History of the War on Weed.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Jerry Duggan, Brian Posehn, who knows a bit about the subject, and Scott Koblish. And it appears to be kind of an anti-reefer madness kind of thing. A little bit of hysterical pro-marijuana propaganda.
I wonder if it weeds, we can kill it. Oh, wow.
I wonder if Brian Posehn is still clean, because for a while there he had given up marijuana. I remember hearing that story that that he was so into it that when he got off of it, he was like, "Oh yeah, wow, I can be funny not on pot. What a concept!" But I don't know if he's since reneged on that. But it's just in general, the year is 1985. The first lady decides to crush Northern California cannabis farmers and
just say no.
Biggest tool in the armed forces, Scotch McTiernan. Oh, man.
A portion of the proceeds from this comic we donated to organizations dedicated to helping casualties of America's immoral drug war.
Excellent.
Nice. Excellent.
Mm-hmm. That's on page 53 there. Scott Koblish on the artwork, too. All right. What else we got here from Image? I'll bring this up on 56. Grip of the... Now, how would you pronounce that? Combinate?
Combinat. It looks Russian to me.
Fair enough. Okay. Combinat. This is written and drawn by Damon Gentry and Simon Roy. And those are familiar names. I've seen both of them around, comics before. Simon Roy of Prophet and Habitat. Damon Gentry on Saber-Toothed Swordsman and Vinegar Teeth. Sometimes I feel like I'm just mashing words together when I'm talking about comic books, but this is two mega corporations that rage an eternal tug of war for the ruins of our future solar system. Pulpy sci-fi adventure escalating unintended consequences, wry satire, and pure goofery combined. These are all words that are positives to me.
An unholy love child of Verhoeven and Asimov. Wow. Okay.
That is certainly saying a lot. That's on page 56 there, if you want to check it out. $17 for the first trade paperback of that, and it's original graphic novel. So this is the way that you're going to be reading it, is in graphic novels.
Looks like it's in glorious black and white.
It is indeed, sir.
Hmm.
Look at that next selection.
Yep. Next page.
This series is superb. Absolutely superb.
Yeah, I gotta catch up after that first issue. Wowed me the way it did.
It gets better and better.
Excellent.
Can't recommend it. Highest recommendation. Let's put it that way.
Terrific. Primordial, the hardcover. Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino and Dave Stewart on the art chores. First 6 issues of this in hardcover on page 58. Okay. Go down a little bit further here. A Thing Called Truth in trade paperback. Remember pointing this out at least once. And this is the first 5 issues of A Chaotic LGBTQ plus Road Trip by Yolanda Zanfardino and Elisa Romboli. That's offered for you on page 60. First 5 issues of that. Look at this cover here for vinyl. Doug Wagner and of course Daniel Hilliard and Dave Stewart. Man, that's a unsettling tale of psychopaths, sweet love, and a serial killer named Walter. Clearly fun for the whole family on page 61.
Oh, the good Asian. Could you pause there for a minute? Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
I praised this the first trade a couple episodes back. Magnificent Noir takes place in a 1930s Chinatown in is it San Francisco now? I'm trying to remember.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. It's if you love crime noir, this is an outstanding book. I highly recommend it. I'm really looking forward to the second trade. So glad to see that being solicited.
Mm-hmm. Collects issues 5 through 10 of that series on page 63. And then right underneath it, volume 6 of Oblivion Song, Robert Kirkman's science fiction tale out of Skybound. Time Before Time is a book that I'm eventually going to have to catch up on. Just from the premise alone, it sounded interesting to me. And this is volume 2, issues 7 through 11 here. As the Syndicate and the Union wage war across decades, Tatsuo and Nadia continue their journey to reunite Nadia with her family, but a shocking surprise awaits them in the year 2042. That's on page 60.
Have you read any of this, Ian?
I meant to, and I missed it. So it's a time travel story, and it's Declan Shelby. Like need I say more? It's waiting to be read. Definitely, page 65. I will note that I have still yet to have picked up the new issue of Saga. My local comic shop was out of it, so I will.
It should be in my next shipment.
Excellent. I will be getting it in one way or another.
Could you pause for a minute, sir? Go back to New Bern. I've been meaning to talk about this book. It's by Chip Zdarsky and Casey Gilly. I've read the first 3 issues, I believe. Superb. It's the premise is New Bern is this. He's a former police detective who acts as like a neutral investigator for organized crime families in New York City. So when there is a killing among these families, he's called in to discern what actually happened. It's Zdarsky, so that's enough. But it's a fantastic concept. It's how he takes on an apprentice essentially to groom for the future. I'm really enjoying this book immensely. Great concept.
Cool. And this is issue 6 of said series on page 77. Radiant Black is up to issue 14, and I love that.
Look at that cover.
Cover there.
Ah,
Oh yeah, harkening back to the Wolverine and Gray
Peter
Hulk.
David Hulk. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Page 78. And Radiant Red's second issue comes out on the very next page. 79. Yep. Saga 58.
Look at that cover. Look at that cover.
And a simple solicitation on page 81. Friends or enemies? We'll have to find out. Okay, I think that's all for Image.
All right, moving on.
Moving on to Dark Horse, and as usual, we start off with a Mike Mignola.
What a creative team on this book. Wow.
Man. British Paranormal Society, Time Out of Mind, 4-issue mini by Mignola and Chris Robertson with Andrea Moody on the art. Damn. Page 88, British Paranormal Society members Simon Brutenholm and Honora Grant arrive at Noxton together, but with separate goals. Honora hopes to uncover information on the town's strange traditions, while Simon is searching for his missing assistant. But their separate investigations lead down the same twisted path that hides dark secret behind Noxton's innocent facade. Fascinating. Certainly Mignola-esque. All the right ways. All right, moving forward here. Grendel Omnibus, page 92.
For me, one of the great indie creations in comics. Period.
Yep.
Honestly, I mean, I haven't read everything, but I don't think I've ever read a bad Grendel story. I can say that with complete sincerity. One of the great living masters, Matt Wagner. Did I hear, by the way, they're going to be putting... Oh, it says it right there. It's going to be on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. It is in the works at Netflix. This is 600 pages of Grendel for only $30.
For $30. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, affordable softcover edition.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All there for you on page 92 to check out.
Oh, Torso. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great book.
This is an Eisner Award-winning comic.
Mark Andreyko art with Bendis writing. Such a good true crime book.
Yep, absolutely. And this is on page 93. Again, this is from 1999. So
good to seeing this being reissued. It's excellent.
Yep, one of Bendis's earliest works right there. I'm gonna stop here on page 95 for Liebstrasse.
Ooh, Weimar Republic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. During the final years, Sam meets Philip in Berlin and they fall in love. Their romance is hit with an unspeakable reality as the Nazis come to power and fascism makes them a target. Certainly looks interesting. And a 20.
I'm gonna have to pick that up. That's right in my historical wheelhouse.
Yep. This one was a 2020 GLAAD Media nominee for Outstanding Comic as well. And now here it is collected in trade on page 95. Look at this excellent movie cover.
Yeah.
For Cold Bodies.
Moody again.
Mm-hmm. All over this catalog. With Max Visaggio on the writing as well. This collects a 1980s meta-horror homage focusing on how trauma affects victims of slashers and never leaves decades later. Very cool premise on page 96.
Absolutely.
Especially for somebody like myself who just saw the latest Scream and loved it.
Oh, you did enjoy it. Okay, good.
It was easily my favorite since the first one.
Wow. All right.
Yep. Okay. Breakout number 1 of 4. Zach Kaplan on the writing and Wilton Santos on the artwork. When massive cube spaceships from another dimension, those are words, materialize over our cities and routinely abduct teenagers to be held inside their mysterious floating prisons, Liam Watt's younger brother Tommy is taken. While governments and adults across the world accept their loss as inevitable, Liam refuses to give up hope. He joins, and this sounds like a super awesome sci-fi story by Zach Kaplan here.
With a high school premise thrown into boot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. All there for us on page 98, and really digging the artwork.
Yeah, me too.
Page there. Yep.
Look at that Atari shirt.
Mention issue 11 of 12. We're so close to Black Hammer Reborn concluding and then being released either as
Except no substitutes.
Yep.
Man.
That'll be great to have in a 12-issue hardcover.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
I'm reading it. It's magnificent.
Excellent. That's on 103 right there. And then Cecil Castellucci and Flavia Biondi. That's a creative team. This is a Berger Books book on page 104. So that's also a seal of excellence right there. Shifting Earth. In a not-so-distant future, a freak particle storm has landed botanist Dr. Maeve Millet on an idyllic yet strange parallel Earth with no way back home. But just like her own climate-ravaged planet, this verdant Earth has a sinister side, which astronomer Zuzi battles every day. I love parallel Earths. I am in. Page 104.
He's in.
I am in. And again, everything Berger Brooks books out is great stuff. The pedigree of Vertigo gone past. I think that's it for Dark Horse from me, gentlemen. Anything else of note?
I'm good.
Murd, you got anything?
Same here.
Okay, excellent. Then I'll just mention in passing this trade paperback here for The Airless Year by Adam Nave and Valentine Barker. Looks like a nice all-ages affair here. And it's about a queer black girl in middle school. Everything feels like a struggle. But when she fails a class as a result of her stress and ends up in summer school, she starts to wonder why she even bothers trying, and ultimately begins to discover her own power to improve the things in her life she can control and try to let go of what she can't. Nice slice of life story there for the YA audience on page 112 by Adam Nave. With that, I will head over to DC. DC, it's back. It's back. Flashpoint, it's back.
Not that we really missed it, but it's back anyway.
Yep. We will get there as it's not the first page, so I'm going to scroll through all that real quick and mention before we get there.
For Shane especially, yep.
Oh, yes. Batman Beyond Neo Year, #1 by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanzig. Neo Gotham is alive and has killed Bruce Wayne. It's rejected Terry McGinnis as Batman and offered him the chance to escape. Terry turned it down. He is the city's protector, and he will uphold the legacy of Batman. Now Neo Gotham will do everything in its power to destroy Terry, including creating brand new villains to fight him. Terry's first year without Bruce Wayne begins. Does he have a fighting chance? This sounds fascinating.
It does. And you know what? I got to say that one of the all-time great costume designs.
Agreed.
It's so captivating. What a great design, man.
Yep. Yeah. And initially when that series first came out, I was thinking to myself, like, do we really need a future Batman? And then I actually sat down and watched the first episode.
That was excellent. Yeah.
It had me hooked. Heck, they had me hooked from the intro alone. Like that intro that Darwin created was just so stunning.
Is the intro when they show Bruce as like Batman at the end, basically when he's older?
Yeah, right when that those were the first couple of scenes, but I'm more talking about like the Japanese anime inspired like introduction that was on every episode.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yep.
Yeah. That's on page 4 there for any of you Batman Beyond fans, and hot damn the artwork on the following page.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Lovingly rendered stuff. Tom King asked the question, who is the terrifying new villain called the Help? On page 6.
Can't wait to read this.
Indeed. Tom King and Dave Marquez. What a team. And then in Detective...
Gee, why is the Riddler returning?
No.
And why now?
No reason.
Why in this month, this year?
Absolutely no reason. The Batman. The Batman. It's 3 hours. The Batman.
Is it really 3 hours long?
Indeed. Yep.
Wow. I hope it's good.
From everything that I see, it's intriguing me. And I'm certainly going to sit down and watch it.
Absolutely. Me too. We got to talk about it.
Most definitely.
Plus, I want to see Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, for God's sake.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Page 7 for this Detective Comics number 1059 by Mariko Tamaki and Nadia Seamus for the return of the Riddler. And then World's Finest number 2 on.
We'll be talking about that. Yep.
Oh, you better believe we're going to be talking about that. And here we are as they celebrate the 10th anniversary of Flashpoint. My oh my, and resolicit both the 10th anniversary omnibus, which has everything in it, all the miniseries and Flash and
all 56 tie-in issues.
Yep. All there for you for $150 retail on page 10. Jeff Johns and various. And then you just want Flashpoint. That's also being resolicited right up top there on the same page. But Flashpoint Beyond, number 0. It is Jeff Johns returning to it.
Yep.
And Eduardo Risso on artwork. So they certainly have a team together. And they may actually have me. Like they may actually have me interested enough to check this out on page 11. It's more the mystery of, how it got back and
right.
Tying into, the Infinity Crusade and all that. And the return of Thomas Wayne Batman. This is unraveling that mystery even further in a world that should not exist. And I want to find out why it exists. On page 11.
Turns out it's in a little blue ball under Franklin Richards' bed.
Good times.
Good cross continuity there, Murd. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
With much better artwork than any of Franklin Richards' internal characters had.
It's got a good shot at being better than any of those. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. Look at these black and white pages.
No, they're fabulous.
So good. And issue 1 solicited on the next page.
Written by Jeff Johns, Jeremy Adams, and Tim Sheridan, with art by Germanico.
Mm-hmm.
It's issue 1 of a 6-issue miniseries. Well, 7, I guess, if you count the 0 issue we were just talking about.
Yep. Batman's hunt for the Clockwork Killer brings him to Europe and face to face with the Mad King Aquaman. Getting you right back in there, and whew, yet again, stunning artwork. Man. And then The Flash, the Fastest Man Alive by Kenny Porter and Ricardo Lopez.
And when is this film coming out?
This film, when is the release date for that film? Because I'm gonna have to look that up right now. Because it's funny that we get the Return of the Riddler, and we're already getting the Flash comic. Let's see, the Flash 2022. The answer to that is, as of now, November 4th, 2020.
Okay, all right.
Yep. So they're a little ahead of the game here on releasing this, but at the same time, it sort of acts as a Barry Allen adventure that goes side by side with the Flash of the movie universe on page 15. Then some stuff in the Arrowverse. Earth Prime number 1 here by Natalie Abrams, Kelly Larson, and Camrus Johnson. Art by Clayton Henry. This is supposed to have a crossover between Batwoman and Superman and Lois, which I love the Superman and Lois series. I've yet to sit down and start season 2, but boy, oh boy, I cannot wait. especially with some of the stuff that I'm hearing about. Murd, have you watched any of it yet?
I've watched maybe the first 4 or 5 episodes of Superman and Lois, and then Christmas got in the way, and I haven't gotten back to it yet. But
Fair
it's all on HBO Max now, right? The first season.
Yes, the first season is, and season 2 is airing on the CW. I think you can watch the episodes on the CW app as well to catch up, / the website. So
I tell you what, though, I did watch Road to Perdition over the weekend, and I realized that the kid in that movie, which I had
It's Superman. Yep.
Yes, right. That Tyler Hoechlin. That's where he got his start.
Oh,
great
wow.
movie, Road to Perdition. Great movie.
So he has a very, very deep comic book past in his acting. So there we go.
That's true.
16 and 17 there for Earth Prime 1 and 2. And moving a little bit forward here as the trial of the Amazons continues. But as we move
Of the Justice League.
Yes. Death of the Justice League begins in issue 75 of the Justice League. Joshua Williamson and Rafa Sandoval as the creative team here. As Joshua Williamson begins his Justice League opus here. As it looks like this is going to be on the scale of Death of Superman, or at least that's the way that they're painting it.
Well, they got those caskets.
They do. Yep. All set up, and Jurgens did draw that particular image, and you got a Todd Knock drawn team variant. It's a lot of good stuff here, and I hope this goes in a good direction. I really do. I want a interesting story, not just a gimmick. We'll see about that.
Well, there's an element of gimmickry, of course, because they're not really going to be dead. So,
well, they'll be dead for now.
For now,
right.
But let's hope for a great story. I'll read it too.
Exactly, certainly. Now, will you be reading the Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country #1 on page 26?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Sometimes nightmares walk the earth. Every night when you sleep, the Lord of Dreams chooses the path you'll follow into a Sylvan Elysium or down the hallways of your darkest fears. And sometimes, if it's dreams will, those nightmares escape those halls and go out into the wild. But it is not a choice he makes lightly. James Tynion IV is the writer on here, so that's no slouch.
Nope.
And Mr. Agony and Mr. Ecstasy premiere on page 26 as new characters and the Sandman universe. Artwork by Yannick Paquette as well.
Oh, great artist.
Yep. And then a facsimile edition of the very first issue of Sandman coming out on page 28 as well, if you want to hold that in your hand. Going down a little bit further here, volume 1 of Superman Son of Kal-El comes out. Love this cover for it so much.
Great tribute cover.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And I dig the costume they made for Jonathan too. I think it harkens back to New 52 Superman, but not in a bad way. It kind of takes like all the good parts of that, and then also kind of combines it with a little bit of a Kingdom Come / Electric Blue Superman look, but not the color scheme. All the right colors.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yep. Page 32. Tom Taylor and John Timms and Daniel Di Nucuolo, all there on the artwork chores on page 32. First 6 volumes of that series. First 6 issues of that series. Excuse me. A compendium of Midnighter, the complete collection. Steve Orlando's Midnighter story on page 33. Teen Titans Go story on page 36 for any of you fans of the animated series. Teen Titans Go Undead.
I love the catcher's mask.
It's so good. Page 36, Michael Northrop and Eric Owen on the writing and art chores for that one. And then to my favorite type of citations. Frizza, Frazza.
Just breeze on through, honey.
Mm-hmm. You kind of can this month, but page 39, we have two things of note. Issue 11 of Batman Catwoman by Tom King and Clay Mann. We are one issue away from the conclusion of that story. And we get to the conclusion of Blue and Gold number 8, Dan Jurgens and Ryan Sook. And
I just read issues 1 to 3 of Blue and Gold. I had to text Shane. It is so damn fun.
Good.
We'll talk more about it next comic talk, but what a delight that series is.
Super happy to hear that. I got to catch myself up. Absolutely. I have the first issue of that, but I'm definitely going to have to catch the rest of it. Nightwing number 91. I pointed out every time.
Because you have to, because they're amazing.
They're the best damn covers in comic books on page 41. You don't believe me? Just look. There's 2 legs on it. That's it. There's just
and it's still so dynamic.
Yep. Beautiful.
Yep.
That's the cityscape below that. Oof. Perfect. And I really dig the cover for Robin's number 6 as well. Tim Seeley's Robin run. Yep. Page 42.
Look at that Scooby-Doo cover.
Playtell has designed a new VR game that allows players to experience their old-fashioned board game in a new light by transporting them onto a giant vertical board of play.
It sounds like a story you'd expect like in the 1980s or something. I love it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase all over again.
There you go. Ooh, and again, a gorgeous cover here.
Yeah, it's nice.
Powell number 10. Covered by Travis Moore on that one. And a costume change from the looks of it, too. Something more akin to kind of what the Eradicator was wearing when he was first introduced, with a much more prominent yellow belt there as well to sort of switch up the color scheme a little bit. Page 43. Then The Flash, number 781. The Eclipso War left Wally West stopped dead in his tracks, but a brand new villain has emerged to wreak havoc on the Scarlet Speedster. An exciting new story arc begins here, and most importantly, Wally is still the lead character.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like a Wally and Wally team up in that issue.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Page 44 for that one. It's technically, I guess, Wally and Wallace, right? Or... yeah, I think it is Wallace. And then that about does it there for the singles, and we're on to the trades. Any standouts here amongst the trade collections, gents?
Not really.
Yeah, it kind of is that month.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. They did not have a lot of trades. Wow, that is the least amount of trades I've seen.
Yeah, wow.
In a long, long time. But hey, the Batman's coming out on March
4th.
March 4th.
All right, we return.
Oh, that is beautiful.
IDW starts off with the Rocketeer, The Great Race, number 1 of 4 on page 122.
40th anniversary.
Terrific. Stephen Mooney is the writer and artist on this story. And damn,
sensational. Sensational.
Fascinating stuff. Always great to see more Rocketeer in any form.
Any form.
They're giving it loving care here. Now this
40 years. That's right. It's 40 years. 1982.
It celebrates 40 years, but with a caveat that the IDW run of G.I. Joe will be coming to a close.
Okay, so Hammer's original numbered run is going to come to a close. Okay.
Well, IDW's G.I. Joe experience will be coming to a close.
Oh, so the whole license then. Okay.
Indeed. Yeah. IDW has lost the license, or at least perhaps just decided not to renew the license for G.I. Joe. We're not quite sure who's getting it yet. I know Skybound had put in a bid at one point, so it may very well be going to Image. And if that is the case, perhaps they will continue Larry Hama's G.I. Joe. But this is the 40th anniversary special while IDW still has it. Larry Hama and various celebrate the long-standing tradition of G.I. Joe.
And let's pause for a minute because I'm looking at the copy here. I missed this. They're taking on the classic. Oh, Shane would love this. G.I. Joe 21, the silent interlude, the original silent issue.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So they're going to each artist is going to draw a page of that book in their own style. This is a great idea.
That is an excellent idea. Yeah, and I'm happy to see them
definitely picking this up. Oh,
absolutely. 124 for that one. You see a whole bunch of Joe going on. The Saturday morning adventures continue. The 4-issue miniseries there of the animated series G.I.
Boy, they got the animated style down pat. Look at that! Wow,
so perfect.
Question though, was G.I. Joe ever on Saturday morning television on any network? I thought it was just syndicated.
Yeah, I mean recalling the series when I was a kid, it was on during the week.
Right.
It wasn't on the weekends.
I think it may have been on NBC at one point.
Maybe so. I'm just remembering from when I watched it in the early 80s. But
right, but don't quote me on that because I have vague recollection of sitting down and seeing it on my Saturday morning screen. I just don't know if that was just local or if that was NBC. But we can certainly get clarification from the supergroup and definitely Shane.
Shane, yes.
Jim Zub crafting another Dungeons and Dragons tale on page 126. Dungeons and Dragons Best of Minx and Boo with art by Max Dunbar, Nelson Daniel, Dean Copps, and Francesco Mortarino, all there on page 126. And I am still looking forward to reading this when it's all collected. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus Godzilla.
Good creative team.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. Cullen Bunn and Freddie Williams II on page 127. Can't get better than that.
Mm-hmm. It's a great creative team and a great idea for a crossover.
Absolutely.
Concept will equal execution.
Mm-hmm. Now, look at this.
Ferengi. Oh, what a great cover. Look at Quark.
So great. Andy Price on the artwork, and he also crafted this cover here with Christina Rice on the writing chores. And the Ferengi just popped up in an episode of Star Trek Prodigy that I watched, so I'm very much in the mood for some Ferengi action.
Quark's a great character.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Not on my station.
This series is immensely fun. The Mirror War.
Yep, 131. Excellent. Yep. The Piptons, along with Gavin Smith and the J.K. Woodward covers, continue to be grand.
Yep.
Okay, moving forward here. And I think that's about it. So we are going to head over to Marvel. And right here.
Wow.
Man, it is a good month to be a fan of Marvel Comics as we celebrate 60 years of the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yep. God, that's right.
And they're giving us facsimile editions of the very first issue of Amazing Spider-Man by Lee and Ditko.
The annual
by Lee and Ditko.
Spectacular Spider-Man 1.
Yep, Spectacular Spider-Man 1 by Conway.
A tarantula.
Oof. And then the new creative team for Amazing Spider-Man, Zeb Wells, returning John Romita Jr.
Wow.
And man, I was a little bit cold on Romita Jr.'s most recent stuff, but man, oh man, is his Spider-Man my bag.
Oh, it's one of the best. I mean, he and his father, two of the all-time great Spider-Man artists.
Yep. And I'm trying to think who usually inks him on Spider-Man because he's back.
Is it Hannah?
Yes. And I think that's part of the reason why
they're a great team.
So perfect together. Yeah. We've got some great Spider-Man villainage going on here as well, as Tombstone is back and Peter Parker did something and it ain't good because it looks like he's got all of his friends on the outs with him and possibly even undercover with Tombstone as a henchman. So where is this going to go? I'm looking forward to finding out. All these variant covers, including one of Mary Jane in the costume. Man, it's good stuff. And issue 2, nobody draws Rain better.
Yeah, you're right.
and oof, too, like his
Mary Jane sobbing here. Yikes.
Beautiful face on Peter there. Terrific. As the second issue is solicited on page 5. As a new era
breathtaking Captain America images. Wow.
And yeah, Alex Ross covers as a new creative team takes over Captain America.
That's a lot of writers, though.
It is. It
sure I hope that's not the equivalent of, like, those ill-fitted screenplays that have 10 different writers on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to be trading off on the series, or if it's perhaps other creators that are going to be involved with other Captain America books. But either way, it's Tochi Onyebuchi of Black Panther Legends, Jackson Lanzig and Colin Kelly of Kang the Conqueror, and Matea de Luis of the Mighty Valkyries and Invisible Woman. Kick off an incredible new Captain America saga. As Arnim Zola launches a catastrophic attack on New York City. Sam and Steve jump into...
Oh, Arnim.
Yep. That's
TV head.
There. Hulk versus Thor on the very next page, page 10. Donnie Cates writing that one with Martin Coccolo. Always love when these two...
I always love Gary Frank art, for that matter.
And you ain't kidding. That's good stuff. The interior artwork, too, is no slouch.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep. And look at it.
Yeah, 60 years of the Hulk, too.
Whew. Yep. Issue 6 of that run of Cates and Otley on the book looks mighty fine.
60 years of Thor.
Yep. Page 15, Donnie Cates continues his run on issue 24 there. And then, gentlemen, we must pause a moment and reflect on the fact that the one, the only, the half a foot Rob Liefeld is returning to Deadpool and Deadpool Bad Blood #1. Co-written by Chris Syme and Chad Bowers, and Rob Liefeld on the artwork. That happened. And just when you thought Chip Zdarsky's run on Daredevil was over, it's back, baby. With a bold new direction and a new #1. Chip Zdarsky on writing with Marco Cicchetto on the artwork. After Devil's Reign, what is left for Daredevil? You're going to find out, and Zdarsky's going to tell you.
This is a run I really have to catch up on because I've only read the first arc of it, which was excellent.
Yep.
So I'm way behind on that. First time in my life I've really been behind on Daredevil. That's shameful.
Man. It's all right. I won't take away your badge. Your badge of honor. Page 17 for that one. Look at this.
And Nocenti.
Yes. Issue 100 of Elektra. So putting together, I guess, all the Elektra series that have happened over the years. This happens to be the 100th issue of that. And yes, as stated, Innocenti returns with Paolo Siqueira, Ty Templeton, and a bunch of others, all included here for this milestone 100th issue of Elektra. Page 18.
Which is a self-contained one-shot, apparently.
Yes, it is.
Al Ewing writing the X-Men. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can I guess that you're going to be reading this?
Yeah.
I'm pretty far out of touch with the X-Men. I'm just now learning that there are mutants on Mars right now, apparently. But if Al Ewing's writing it, it's just sign me up for the next rocket.
Well, and if Al Ewing wasn't enough to get you, Stefano Caselli on the artwork. Like,
yeah,
oof, man.
Speaking of Ewing, I should be getting in my next shipment the final Immortal Hulk trade, a series I read in trade, so I'm really looking forward to that.
I will catch up on that, and when I do, I will let you know. But Yeah, X-Men Red #1 here on page 19. Who can save the Red Planet? And I love that they're using the X-Men Red moniker here for much different means than the last time that there was a team called X-Men Red. Maz, baby, Maz. Legion of X. Cy Spurrier starts off a run on a very different band of mutants.
The Juggernaut.
Yeah, and not just Juggy in his new Fabian Nicieza threads, I might add. Still in those from that miniseries that I loved. Page 21 here: Nightcrawler, Legion, Pixie, Juggernaut, and a couple of others thrown in there as well. What a ragtag group there.
It's always good. It's always good to see Nightcrawler with swords in hand.
Most definitely.
Always.
Yep.
So, have they tried to establish Juggernaut as a mutant now, or is he still just a magically enhanced human?
I believe he's still a magically enhanced human.
Okay, so he's just an ally to the mutant cause these days, but he's not a mutant himself.
Correct. Yeah, I could be missing something, but last I checked, he was still just a human.
Good.
Yep. I prefer him that way personally, and I hope he stays that way.
Me too.
Page 21 for that one. And then Knights of X. Leaping out of the pages of Excalibur, this is where we're going next with Teenie Howard's run. And I've heard terrific things about this Excalibur run, harkening back to the old days of Alan Davis in a lot of ways.
That's high praise.
Yeah, I look forward to catching up on this one as well. We've got Otherworld action with Betsy Braddock as Captain Britain, and a couple of others thrown in there. I know Jubilee was a member of the cast at one point. I think she's still here. So that begins Knights of X, page 22. Huh. Giant size X-Men Thunderbird #1. Interesting. This was something I was not expecting. Even more things I was not expecting.
Oh, right. It makes sense. They resurrected Thunderbird, right?
Indeed. Yep. But all elite wrestling superstar Nyla Rose teams with Steve Orlando for this giant size X-Men Thunderbird #1.
Wasn't there a brother who became Thunderbird?
There was.
Well, yeah, he became Warpath. I don't think he ever
That's right. That's
assumed
right.
the
Okay.
Thunderbird moniker, but yeah.
Gotcha.
I think there might have been a small amount of time he was going by Thunderbird, Murd, but it didn't last very long. I know that there was another Thunderbird that came along later during Claremont.
Yeah, Neil Shara. He was from India.
Yes, correct. Yep, that's on.
There you go, Ian. X-Men 92.
And that they're doing House of X in X-Men 92. Where the hell is this gonna go? But I'm in, baby. This has me. I the animated series is coming back to Disney Plus. Like they're doing a whole new run on the X-Men the animated series for Disney Plus sometime, if not this year, then next year. And now we've got an X-Men 92 comic book. Like, yeah, it's my youth is back, and I couldn't be happier. Steve Fox on the writing and Salva Espin on the artwork. Page 25. Look at this Hulk Frankenstein madness.
It's a hell of a cover.
Wow. Jim Rugg concludes his creative reimagining of the entire history of the Incredible Hulk. Madness #1 on page 26. The What If Miles Morales continues with What If Miles Morales was Wolverine? Yeah, what if? I'll certainly read it when it's collected. I'll more than likely be reading it on the Marvel Unlimited app. But it's John Ridley on the writing, with Fareed Karami on the artwork. Page 30 for that one. Miles is the best there is at what he does, and in this reality, what he does isn't very nice. Bub. Whole lot of issue 2s this month. Look at this. Ralph Macchio, Doctor Strange Nexus of Nightmares, #1.
Covered by Todd Knock.
Indeed. With Ibrahim Mustafa on the artwork on the inside.
Macchio is a great veteran of the industry.
Mm-hmm. And there will be a Doctor Strange movie coming out not too far after the release.
This year, right?
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what multiversal madness we get from that.
Sam Raimi at the helm. So exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Should be a hell of a ride.
Yeah.
And the Spider-Punk gets his own miniseries. One of my favorite members of the Spider-Verse crew finally gets his own spotlight here in a 5-issue mini by Cody Ziegler.
And it's Kobe Brown in the costume. I mean, Hobie Brown in the costume. The Prowler.
Indeed.
The Prowler, yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Set to protect Earth 138 with his axe in hand and his chaotic band of punk rockin' heroes backing him. That looks like good times. I love the Spider-Punk costume design. So unique.
It kind of proceeds naturally from the Ramones recording the Spider-Man animated series theme song back in 1995.
That's right.
Good point. Good point. Oh, wow. This Immortal X-Men #2 cover here. Well, this is one of the variants by Phil Noto, but look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, I'll be reading that series too. Kieran Gillen.
Sinister looks so much better with a beard and long hair. I'm telling you. Just rounds everything out.
You don't like his pointed 80s head when he was first introduced?
Yeah.
The fangs and the lipstick.
Yeah.
It was all the rage back then, you see.
Yeah.
All right. Most things are mid-run here. Issue 5 of Avengers Forever.
The doom of all dooms.
I mean, sure. Yeah.
Doom.
Doom.
Doom supreme.
Speaking of Doom, I did finish, and I'll mention this on our next comic talk, I did finish the Fantastic Four life story, and I have some opinions.
By the way, on page 52.
52!
Nodding and winking and giggling up at Jamie D, looking down on us now. The Serpent Society.
Yes.
In Avengers. Characters from the Grunwald Cap run that I loved and Jamie hated, but here they are. And by the way, Judgment Day is coming.
Oh, really? Really? Again?
So goes the rumor.
All right. Okay. Fine.
Gotta love it. Come on, Nighthawk. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Issue 4.
I'm looking forward to reading that when I get it. The Rebirth story by Ron Mars and Ron Lim.
I have the first issue with that. I gotta sit down and read it. And the Reckoning War continues. Page 57. The long awaited Reckoning War by Dan Slott. Oh,
it's a great cover.
Look at that cover for She-Hulk #4.
Come on, Ben Grimm is your corner man. How can you lose?
Read the first issue of that. Best She-Hulk in years.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Since the Slott run,
which is tremendous.
To which it seems to be paying conscious homage.
Oh, very much so. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, get Shulky reconciling with Titania and a presumed dead Jack of Hearts stumbling into her office. It feels a lot like those glory days have returned. So
absolutely.
Thank you to Rainbow Rowell for that.
Amen.
Pick that up.
Moon Knight.
The Moon Knight show is March, isn't it?
It sure is. It is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. Next on the Marvel slate.
One of the great actors of our time. So
look at this cover.
God.
19, man. Alex Ross just nobody beats him, and he's drawing the best covers of his career, I feel like.
Yeah, they're and I'll say again, this is some of the greatest Iron Man I've ever read.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
That's saying something. It takes the character to another level.
And this concludes the Books of Korvac on page 63. Now, Star Wars, I don't have a comic to mention, but I will mention a release date is officially out for Obi-Wan.
I saw that.
Yep.
May 25th.
Can't wait.
Starring
that
McGregor?
wizard's just a crazy old man.
Yep. Starring
Ewan
Ewan
McGregor,
Yep.
On Tatooine.
And Hayden Christensen returning to the role of
Now, I'm interested to see how they're going to use that.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, on to trades. Yep, here we are.
God.
Oh, yeah.
I already have my bound copy, so I don't need this. But if there's ever an omnibus worth buying, it's this.
Yeah.
Panther by Priest.
They've had it in trade paperback for quite some time, and now here's the hardcover treatment for this.
It's issue 1 to 33, so it's not his whole run, but it's a good chunk of it.
As well as Deadpool number 44 and material.
Good crossover.
Marvel Double Shot number 2.
Also great.
Yep. Page 76 for that one.
And here's this is one of the books from my flood that I have to replace. I'm so glad they're resoliciting it. This is a great series. Mortal Iron Fist.
Yeah.
By Brubaker, Fraction, and Aja.
So good.
Superb.
With also material by Jason Aaron, Colin Bunn, Rick Spears, and David Lapham thrown in there for good measure.
Yeah, that's a great collection right there.
It's over 1,000 pages.
Yep. Shame to be lamenting the size, but I will definitely be ordering this to replace it.
And frankly, over 1,000 pages for one.
It's a good price before discount. Yeah,
exactly. Before discount, you could probably find a 50% discount for that. That's gonna be well worth it. 77. Immortal Hulk hardcover for any of you who are reading it in hardcover. That's on page 80. That's not on sale until September 2022, mind you. So keep that in mind. First volume of John Ridley's Black Panther solicited here as well,
which I have not read. I actually ordered. They finally collected it in a massive omnibus. The entire Ta-Nehisi Coates, the Black Panther in space story, which I read part of, but I didn't finish. I can't wait to read it in one sitting, basically, because it was excellent. So
nice. Well, this is the first 5 issues of John Ridley's run here on page 82. And Avengers Forever is being solicited for on sale June 2022. And on page 89, I will be reading it on Marvel Unlimited, and if I enjoy it, it is going right there on my shelf next to Avengers Forever.
Evanstein hath spoken.
Forever and forever again. Volume 3.
Yeah, look at that cover. God.
Yep. Beautiful.
You're right, Ian. He is doing some of the best covers of his career, and that's saying something. This is inspired stuff.
Absolutely. Yep. That's issues 12 through 19 collected in volume 3 on page 98. I think that's approaching it for me here. Anything else of note before we move forward, gents?
The very next page, just scroll up a little bit further. There we go. Page 109, we've got an epic collection of Iron Man, volume 5 in that series. It collects the first volume of Iron Man, numbers 47 through 67. Any of you out there who've been wanting to own and or read the first appearance of Thanos, that's included there.
Good catch, Murd.
Nice.
Good stories in general in there too.
Indeed. And I'll even mention on top of that
Generation X.
Yep, Generation X Epic Collection Emplate's Revenge. This is the Lobdell, Dizago, Loeb, Michael Golden, and others.
Oh, what a great artist! God, Michael Golden.
All with this in pencils by stalwarts like Tom Grummett, Val Zemeckis, Pasquale Ferry, Chris Bachalo, Mitch Bird, and more. That's all.
I always think fondly of the opening years of that series because it was immensely fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that was all part of it there. Page 108 for a nice piece of history, and page 110 if you want to read how the New Mutants became X-Force. That's how you're going to do it. Wheezy's run along with Liefeld, and then moving forward to Nicieza with a whole bunch of others thrown in there. All right. Shall we move on, gentlemen?
We shall indeed.
Okay.
Project Superpowers.
Yes, indeed. That's starting us off there on page 138 and 139.
Look at the writers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ron Mars and Andy Lanning.
Yep.
Yeah, this was probably the most significant point of interest for me in the whole catalog. I always like it when Dynamite does something different with the Project Superpowers concept, bringing us all those great public domain superheroes of yesteryear, thrown into new and intriguing situations. And this time, Mars and Lanning plus artist Emilio Ultrera are taking us to an alternate future. It's a dystopian type story. It's kind of an extension of contemporary concerns of political division and environmental crisis. It's a future world where a mysterious Project Superpowers character, they're not telling us which one, wakes up kind of Captain America from the ice block style into this future world to discover a United States fractured along multiple ideological lines. The environment is crashing down around their ears, plus some mysterious forces killing patriotic-themed superheroes, many of which figure into the cast of characters of the Project Superpowers concept.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. This is something.
Very looking forward to your field report.
Yep, and again, Ron Mars and Andy Lanning, and yeah, that's a great creative team.
Sure is.
The sample pages provided to us on page 142 and 143.
Wonderful.
Very nicely done.
That was a great interview we had with Ron some months ago. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hey, Dan Abnett here with Immortal Red Sonja #1 on page 149. It's a time of British legend as Dan Abnett gives us some more Red Sonja action here. So always nice to see Abnett on anything.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't care what it is. He's another superb writer. So,
and the designs they have for this
wonderful
this series are great too. 151 for that one.
God, Betty Page just gets around. Now she's like, is that ancient Egypt?
Yeah. If you told me like 10 or 20 years ago that there was going to be a Betty Page comic book that would last in any way, I would not have believed you. And yet, here we are with like the third miniseries for it. So go figure.
Somebody must be buying them.
Yeah. Dynamite Never Dies. Fred Van Lente issue 2 there on page 155. All right. And then let's move out of Dynamite past all the boys reprints, as that's soon to return. And we'll head on over to Boom. If I ever get out of Dynamite. Wow, they have a lot solicited this month. Alice Ever After, #1 of 5 on page 188.
That looks terribly unpleasant.
Yes, it does. Dan Panosian on the writing, Giorgio Spalletta on the artwork. A darkly surreal Alice in Wonderland sequel for fans of Mirka Adolfo's Mercy and Luna, as we return to Wonderland in a twisted sequel.
Using Wonderland as an allegory for addiction this time out, I see.
Indeed.
Well, I'm really liking the character sketches.
Go ask Alice.
Couple of when she's 10 feet tall. Yeah.
The character sketches are great.
Yes, they are.
Very dynamic designs here. That's on 188 and 189. Now, a new Slayer, a new creative team, and a new era begins with the Vampire Slayer #1. Sarah Gailey and Irene Flores bring this to us on page 190 as a bold new story and a new universe begins, courtesy of Sarah Gailey. After years of fighting against the forces of evil, Buffy finds herself succumbing, as I have to make this bigger because the text...
The burden of bearing the Slayer mantle.
Indeed, yep. And to help, Giles is willing to risk a return to chaos magic. And with Willow's help, they attempt a spell to remove the trauma from Buffy's psyche. The effects backfire and leave Buffy unable to remember her past or her purpose. They have to turn to a new Slayer to help.
You know, I was thinking recently that I haven't watched Buffy in a while, but that show was so important to me because when it was coming out, because it was so obviously a great comic book on television.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to sitting down and watching the whole thing again, because every time whenever I think of it, I just think about, God, that show was so good. And it just hit all the buttons for me. It just,
Yep. Well, and look at this Mike Del Mundo cover.
It's great.
192.
Yep. And Angel and Firefly were damn good shows also. I mean,
Yep.
Greg Pak
continuing to write the Firefly series, volume 3 of his run on page 195. And then House of Slaughter, Volume 1 by James Tynion IV and Tate Bromble collects the first 5 issues of that on 196. All right, anything else in Boom, gents?
I think I'm good.
Okay. In that case, onward to the rest of the Let's see what jumps out to us this time around. Clearly, it's this Psylocke thing.
You know, it's funny. I wonder now what, having been in the retail game now I wonder what the statue market is now like. I remember there was a period of years where, God, I sold so many statues. Like there were people who were just dedicated to buying statues, but
That's a good
I don't know if
question.
it's still like that.
Yep.
Does Bowen Design still exist? I don't know, but
yeah.
They do? Okay.
They still do, yeah. 222, Kaiju Score, Steal from the Gods by James Patrick and Rem Brew. This Michelle is back. She has her own crew and she's making her own rules. Unfortunately, her tendency for getting into hot water still remains, and her involvement in that now infamous job in Florida known as the Kaiju Score is haunting her in many different ways. It's about to put her on a collision course with a new job, new characters, and of course, new monsters. This is the second volume of the critically acclaimed bestseller Kaiju Score. And we get more of that universe here on page 222 with Steal from the Gods. Some damn good pencils to go.
Jim Starlin writing here.
Yep. You gonna pick this one up, Murd?
On the fence. Nice to see some new ideas from Mr. Starlin, but still $8.99.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Page 224. This is a 64-page perfect bound one-shot. As Jim Starlin is joined by Nicole Jelinek for this, as a particularly bizarre tale of loneliness, love, and what happens when you can't help but give in to vengeance, growing deep within yourself. With a cover that is straight out of the 90s.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Kind of makes me think of Linsner, like Joe.
Yeah,
Michael
good point,
Dawn.
Murd. Good point.
Yep. Page 226. The Naughty List by Nick Santora and Lee Ferguson. Aftershock continues to just bring me joy. I had a family once, a wife who loved me, a child we loved together. That's all gone now. Been gone for hundreds of years. All because of that damn star. My name? It depends on where you live. Some call me Chris Kringle, others Papa Noel. But my real name is Nicholas Sinterklaas. And this is the story of what happens when you steal my naughty list.
Murd, I don't know how you feel about this.
I feel like we could keep scrolling.
Oh, come on. It's Santa Grindhouse.
I love the Francesco Francavilla cover.
Some guy in a Santa Claus hat wielding a bloody poker and
What if
the weary of life?
This will not be on sale at the Christmas barn, ladies and gentlemen.
At no point.
What if the Punisher was Santa Claus, basically, from the looks of it? Yeah, that's a thing.
Yep. Not a question I need answered, personally.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. As we move out of Aftershock and into some other good stuff.
Some Ahoy, perhaps?
Indeed.
Yep, page 236. We've got the second of 5 planned The Wrong Earth one-shots with different creative teams. This one's called Fame and Fortune.
Mark
And
Russell.
the writer this time is Mark Russell. We know that name. The art is by Michael Montanat, from the looks of it, and a cover, of course, by our friend Jamal, co-creator of the concept of The Wrong Earth. And it's more parallel Earth fun with the Adam West-style Dragonfly Man and the Frank Miller-style Dragonfly on Earth's Alpha and Omega, respectively.
Good stuff. Yep. And directly next to that on the very same page, out of Slave Labor Graphics, the Collected Filler Bunny. For anyone who's a fan of Jonan Vasquez's work, this collects the entire over 200 years of Filler Bunny comics, lovingly translated from the original Latin. I don't know about that one, but either way, it's Jonan Vasquez, creator of Invader Zim, and Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. Like, yeah, this is bound to be crazy.
What wins me over about this is that the writer of the solicit gives up halfway through and just said, "Man, it's hard to fill this space with things to say about this book. Words, 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 words." With a foreword by a filthy man sitting on a toilet.
Oh, man.
Filler Bunny sandwich proton dongle? Okay.
Yeah.
Gentlemen and ladies, you have sold me.
Indeed. And a medal to whoever wrote that solicitation. A medal. Oh, man. Tin Man by Justin Madsen. In Justin Madsen's debut graphic novel, Tin Man, a girl and her brother befriend the titular Tin Man with unexpected results. Solar is in her last year of high school and is reeling from the recent death of her grandmother. She's abandoned her plans for the future and fallen in with a bad crowd. Her little brother Fen doesn't understand why she's changed. She doesn't even want to help him build their rocket in the garage anymore. Campbell is the Tin Woodsman, a clunky metal man whose sole purpose in life is to chop down trees. He longs for more and decides to seek out a heart, believing that with one, he'll be able to feel things he's never felt before and therefore change his life. That's on page 237, and sounds like an interesting take on the Tin Man. Scrolling down a bit more. Let's see. Fun with Little Archie friends on 245. Man, this looks cute. High-octane fun and adventure with Little Archie and his friends from Riverdale.
I recognize a couple of the creators there.
Jay Torres. Yep.
Agnes Garbowska of the Pony Comics, My Little Pony.
Yep. This was a web and this was a webcomic series, or no? I'm sorry. That's the bite-size Archie on the next page. Yep. So yeah, you get a whole bunch of Archie action on those two pages there, 245 and 246.
Yep.
What did Archie first appear in 1940? Do you recall?
I kind of think it was 41.
41? Okay.
I have to look that up. But yeah, Pep Comics number something or other.
The Joneses, #1. Interesting cover here.
It is a very interesting cover.
Yeah. Michael Morecci with Alessandro Vitti on the internal illustrations, and it's Ive Svorcina on the coloring, and John Gallagher on the cover. This spins out of the pages of the Resistance. The Joneses focuses on a suburban family with a big secret in the global pandemic known as the Great Death. Mother, father, sister, and brother were all transformed into something superhuman. While the world embraces fascism born on fear, the Joneses realize they face grave consequences if they are exposed as reborns. They keep a low profile and hide in plain sight, or use their powers for good and risk exposure. That's on 260 there. A nice variant cover there by Diodato as well.
Yes.
Okay. 265, Dark Beach. a 6-part series. Earth has been drifting away from the sun for 300 years, but that doesn't stop Gordo, a crime scene photographer living inside the dome-protected city of New Reykjavik, from dreaming about its warm glow. Is the sun as dangerous as the NRCE, New Reykjavik Corps of Engineers, led everyone to believe, or will a murder rife with the old sun mystery throw Gordo down a rabbit hole to find the truth? Will it? Will it? You're going to have to read to find out. Page 265, and then a bunch more solicitations further.
It was 1941, by the way, Chris.
Thanks, Murd.
Well, there you go.
Comics number 22.
80 years. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How about
And counting.
268? How about Blue Baron enter Blockback?
Ron Friend, Sal Buscema art.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yep. Another one shot with a terrific old school comic book team on that one.
Totally. Thank you, Binge Books, for keeping these old-time creators' work in the spotlight.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a somewhat quick scroll through.
Yeah, looks like it.
Here we are. This one's good. The Man Who Shot Lucky Luke on page 280. It's the lonesome cowboy is not having a good day. Out of tobacco, arriving at night and under pouring rain in the small mining settlement of Froggy Town, he soon finds himself in conflict with two of the Bone Brothers, somewhat infamous local figures. Unfortunately, Luke's reputation precedes him, and when the townspeople ask him to investigate a holdup in the place of the sheriff, none other than James Bone, the tension ratchets up another notch. Special volume by one of the rising stars of Franco-Belgian comics.
And what's the official term for Franco-Belgian comics again?
BD, which is
That's
short
right.
for bande dessinée.
I think our glorious co-founder Brian Dimmer had a very brief series of episodes about that on the CGS
Exploring
feed.
BD, yes. It was a short-lived spin-off, yeah.
Yeah.
You can still find them. You can find them on a page on the Comic Geek Speak page if you look for them.
Yep.
Still archived. Yeah, during one of my visits to France, I went over there on a concert tour with the Penn State Glee Club one time. I think it was back in 2003. And I went with them as an alumnus, actually. I'd already graduated. But we stayed in the home of a college professor in the city of Lyon. And when it came to light that I was a comic book reader, the professor's wife asked me, do you know the Lukey Luke? He's my comic book favorite. He's a cowboy. And I couldn't understand I didn't know what Lukey Luke was or what a coal. I thought she meant he was like a coal miner, but he is in fact a cowboy. And he ends every one of his adventures riding off into the sunset, strumming his guitar and singing, "I'm just a poor cowboy and a long way from home."
Terrific. Absolutely terrific.
Lucky Luke is kind of stuck in my mind since then. And here he is. He's still out there rambling and a roving.
Indeed. Yep. And if you want to learn more about him, he's right there for you on page 280. Wow. Huh. Christoph Beck?
The same Bikini Atoll where they did atomic bomb tests?
The very same.
Wow. Take a relaxing weekend trip to Bikini Atoll if you dare.
Get eaten by a nuclear-powered shark.
Of course. I mean that's why you go swimming there, clearly.
Right. It's the first thing in their brochure.
I always show my students test footage of the bikini bomb explosion when I teach the Cold War.
Wow, man, it's page 282 with Bernard Catu on the artwork, and this celestial paradise has not only given its name to the world's most famous bathing suit, but it was also used as a nuclear testing ground for the United States for over 40 years. Good times. Okay. Where's the solicitation? Here we are. Okay, great. So Ladybird on page 294 catches my eye. Fabrice Sapolsky and Dawn J. Starr give us a story of two young women with extraordinary powers living 100+ years apart. And they have to find a way to break free. Poignant story with a dash of anime flavor. About a woman in 1911 and another woman in 2022. And yeah, fascinating take of separated lives and how they can help each other.
That might be up your alley there, honey.
Indeed. Yep. That's out of Fair Square Comics on page 294.
Fellas, I got to visit the water closet. I'll be back in just a moment. Please continue.
By all means.
Alrighty.
And you know what? While he does something that may actually catch his eye on page 304, History Comics, the National Parks graphic novel.
Huh.
Yep, by Fallon Coach out of First Second Books. Discover the natural beauty of our national parks, from the sequoias of Yosemite to the geysers of Yellowstone. In this volume of History Comics, turn back the clock to 1872, when Congress established Yellowstone National Park, and meet the visionaries, artists, and lovers of the American wilderness who fought against corruption and self-interest to carve out and protect these spaces for future generations.
Yep, that's something else Brian Deemer might enjoy. His family are big national park people. They vacation in Acadia like every single year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, the National History Comics, the National Parks graphic novel out of First Second. Love when First Second does stuff like that.
So do I.
Yep. And then on 305, 6,000 Miles to Freedom, a graphic novel by Stefani Marchetti. A composite of true stories, 6,000 Miles to Freedom is the harrowing tale of two young teenage boys who are forced to flee war-torn Afghanistan in search of what they believe will be a more stable life in England. Based on a true story there out of Graphic Monday, PSU Press, page 305. And Chris, while you were gone, I mentioned History Comics, the National Parks graphic novel.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep, out of First Second Press. Story of Yosemite and Yellowstone. Steve Orlando hits us again here, and this one's out of Heavy Metal. Starward, #1. All about Stephanie Cohen, whose life isn't all going according to plan. The only problem is the plan isn't hers. She's crushing it at college, but her fast track to a medical degree is something her parents decided for her, seemingly at birth. Stephanie was never consulted on her own life. So now she's drowning in pre-med when she'd rather be studying classics, folklore, and mythology. But on the eve of her 20th birthday, Stephanie prepares to stare into her own personal summer abyss for yet another day. She gets a gift unlike any she could possibly expect. Fascinating. Steve Orlando and Ivan Chevrin give us a heavy metal tale on page 308. I wonder if that gift is somehow superpowers, maybe? I don't know. Could be. Oh, okay, I see a Nazi flag here. Page 311. It's got to be sci-fi and time travel thriller. Retroactive. An agent working for the U.S. Bureau of Temporal Affairs sets out to discover the source of several anomalies in the timeline, only to become imprisoned in an inescapable time loop. All right, Ibrahim Mustafa, you have me, damn it.
Ian's love for time travel.
Yes, indeed. And we get some Nazi-occupied France in the preview pages here from 1940. Beautiful artwork. Yeah, looks pretty cool. Jurassic World, the official cookbook on page 3. Some of those cookbooks actually have some pretty decent recipes in them. The Runaways Diary on page 318. It's about Eleanor. She's happiest when she's left alone to dream up elaborate stories. Sam is polished, fun, and popular. Nothing is easy in the big, unforgiving city. As Eleanor faces new setbacks, she also makes new friends and tells new stories. So kind of a slice-of-life tale here by James Patterson and Emily Raynard out of Jimmy Patterson Publications there.
No, Ian, let me ask you, as someone who enjoys gaming, Knights of the Dinner Table.
Yes.
The longevity of this title is incredible.
It's yeah.
Volume 71? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then below that is issue, whatever the latest, 200 something. What an achievement for an independent title. My God.
Nah, absolutely. Yeah. It's not something you see every day, to say the least. And yeah, Jolly Blackburn just keeps it churning.
295. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Page 318 for all that information there.
Starting to give Cerebus a run for its money.
You are absolutely right. You get a forward by Walter Simonson himself on the Collected Toppy Volume 7. Collection of stories inspired by the classic tales from the Arabian Nights. Page 321. All right. Taproot. Page 328. Blue has been living as a ghost for a year when he meets Hamal, a beautiful and sweet gardener who has the ability to see and communicate with ghosts. Together, their friendship develops into something more, but being a ghost, Blue can never truly be connected with Hamal. Blue realizes Hamal's strange ability may be putting him in danger. Blue has to find a way to protect him, even if it means leaving him. Nice supernatural tale there. Out of Oni Press on page 328 by Keezy Young, written and illustrated by Keezy. I can go all the way down, honestly, to our boys, unless there's anything in there. But let's see what we got before then. Thinking it might indeed be tomorrow's time.
It's always tomorrow's time.
Tomorrow's time. Today. Let's start off at 360.
It's millet time. Sorry.
Page 361.
Look at this.
Wowzers. The Life and Art of Dave Cockrum.
Wow.
Yeah.
Immediately. Look at that book.
Oh, my God.
The late, great artist.
Yep.
Limited hardcover available, too.
Indeed.
Tomorrow's tributes to the books like this are always wonderful. I don't even it's great. I don't even know to look at it first to know it's going to be great.
I still really think of the what if of a world where Nightcrawler was a member of the Legion of Superheroes.
It damn near happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, some of his Legion's concept designs just went over to the X-Men in the Bronze Age, basically.
Yep.
Look at that back issue 136, the Spider-Man, the comic strip. Oh,
yes. I was.
It looks like they're focusing on other newspaper strips. Star Trek had that the Short-Lived Howard the Duck newspaper strip.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Starhawks as well.
Definitely getting that issue. Wow.
Yep. I was just reminded of the Amazing Spider-Man X-Men crossover that initially happened in the strips, which was then turned into an episode of the Spider-Man animated series. It was actually the episode where the X-Men crossed over with each other.
Huh. And look at retro fan Julie Newmar.
Indeed. Yep.
Good stuff from Tomorrow's. Good stuff.
Yep. And then
actually, hold on there, Ian. 1 second.
Sure.
Go back down a little bit. So we've got this is not from Tomorrow's, but still from Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we have history books on Spider-Man and Captain America.
Indeed. And Rich Johnson wrote one of them. Okay, interesting. Yeah, Spider-Man, a history hardcover. It's a different guy that I'm thinking. I'm sorry. The other guy I'm thinking of, the Bleeding Cool guy, is Rich Johnson. No. So
right.
Yeah, there we are. Okay, but either way, Rich Johnson penned both these tales here for Captain America and Spider-Man. And if you want further history on these characters, this is a good place to do so over at Universe on page 362. Other side of that page, by the way, Old Gods and New.
Oh, it's a great book also.
World. Yep.
The bottom of that page, which is 362, the collected Prairie Pothole, which is a small collection of autobiographical comic strips that ran in the Chicago Reader a few years back. So any of you out there who grew up in the Chicagoland area or the broader environs of Illinois, those strips may resonate with you.
Nice.
Only $6.
Yeah. Well worth it. Okay, and anything out of Valiant, gents?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I continue to pick up Cullen Bunn's Shadow Man series, but other than that,
nice.
Something here from Vault for the D&D lover. On page 373, it's called Quests Aside, and it's about it's kind of like Cheers meets Dungeons and Dragons. It's about a retired adventurer who opens a bar and opens it up to mages, clerics, and monsters of all kinds. You go inside, you set your troubles aside, and you just hoist an ale or a mead and talk about your most dungeon crawling. But the bar is in danger. The king himself wants to shut it down. And so our hero, Barrow, the owner of the establishment, has to figure out how to save it and the little family of mythological.
This is like a great concept.
Yep.
Writer Brian Shermer and artist Elena Gogu.
I love the last bit of text there. It's always sunny in the realms.
The Blue Flame.
Yep.
The 10th and final issue of that series.
Indeed.
Cantwell.
Yep. Page 374.
I'll have to get that in trade.
Yep, I'm sure that will not be too far behind. Also, a whole bunch of final issues this month out of Vault. Got Milligan's 8th and final issue of Human Remains, and the final issue of The Rush by Cy Spurrier as well on page 376. Okay, and I am onward to manga. But I'm not onward to manga until I pass a certain page. There we go. Mob Psycho, baby.
There he is.
Keeping it going. Keeping it regular. Okay. What are you doing in the manga section? Get out of here, Giant. All right, let's start off page 395. Sakamoto Days. Kill some time with former hitman Taro Sakamoto. He was once a legendary hitman considered the greatest of all time. Bad guys feared him, assassins revered him. But then one day he quit, got married, and had a baby. He's now living the quiet life as the owner of a neighborhood store. But how long can Sakamoto enjoy his days of retirement before his past catches up to him?
It's an old story, but always a good one.
You better believe it. Yuto Suzuki gives us volume 1 here of Sakamoto Days. It's a irreverent blend of crime and domesticity. The same funny and award-winning combination as top hit Spy X Family and best-selling Eisner Award winner The Way of the House Husband. Way of the House Husband is great. So yeah, I'm all in for this on page 395. Definitely got to check that out. And Onigiri, Japanese rice balls made easy.
Oh, they're so good.
Page 397. I love onigiri so much. Hold on, I have to get my epic voice for this. When a snack stands the test of time, you know it's good. Oh yeah, we do. Onigiri balls of rice that can be served plain or stuffed with tuna, mushrooms, sweet potatoes, and more are one of the most delectable and convenient foods in Japanese cuisine. And Watanabe and Samuel Trifot, founders of the popular restaurant Gilly Gilly, present 36 delicious recipes showcasing the irresistible and versatile onigiri, the perfect food for life on the go, on page 397. And damn it, now I want one. All right, find one more and then call it a day. Let's see. Also, kind of hoping I find a Star Wars one just for Shane's sake, but they're not always in here.
Yeah.
Shane,
I think there's any to be found this month.
Darn. All right, then let's see if I can find one more new volume that calls out to me, and if not, then I am gonna call it a day. I think I can call it a day because nothing's. Oh, you know what? Why not? Disney manga, Toy Story 1 and 2 Collector's Edition softcover. If you want your Toy Story mixed with your manga, then this is where you're going to find it on page 422. And then further down on that page, Disney manga Stitch and the Samurai Volume 2. Like, yeah, good job. Good job, Disney. You're licensing right. Page 422 for that. And I think that's
a bolt of shot, gentlemen.
Yep. Excellent.
There is one thing I wanted to show you guys on page 85 of the merch catalog.
Oh, please.
Okay. Let me see.
So just scroll.
Indeed. Luckily, I can fast do that. All right, let's see. Said page 80.
85.
85. Okay, almost there. Am I there? Almost there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we are.
There we go.
Oh,
Make sure you
Murd.
guys saw that man thing.
Yes.
$250.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
12 inches tall, 3 points of articulation,
Look at
lovely
that tree
soft
growing
line.
out of him.
Yep, there's all kinds of detail in there.
Wow. Murd.
You've
That's
got a
great
quarter of
pick.
100 to spend because, man thing doesn't come cheap.
Nope. I mean, this must be a giant-sized man thing in order for it to be 200.
You know what? I'm so happy right now because you didn't disappoint me. Even it was at the very end of the episode, you still got the Borscht Belt in.
It's what I do.
God, I love you. I'm gonna miss you, man, when you're on your trip.
What I do.
Oh.
What I do. Oh boy. Excellent.
That is a stunning man thing. Yes.
Yep. Excellent call out there, Murd.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's it because if I look at anything else in this catalog, I'm going to want to buy it and I'm not going to let that
Actually,
happen.
hold on. Oh, never mind.
No.
Okay.
No. What was it?
I thought I saw a Count Chocula reference in the next page.
Oh, hold on.
There was a series of cloisonne pins, I think, of all the
All right,
monsters.
let's just check that out quickly because
Here we are.
Chocula.
There they are.
Oh, they're portrait pins. Okay.
Yep. You are correct. Yep. M86 General Mills Cereal Monsters portrait pin.
Murd, I'm gonna profess ignorance. Who's the wolf?
Oh, that's Fruit Brute.
I'm not familiar with that one at all.
Yep, he was the fourth monster cereal introduced after Chocula, Frankenberry, and Booberry. They did the multicolored, tutti frutti flavored Fruit Brute with the lime flavored marshmallow bits.
God, I've never even seen him before. I mean, I've seen Yummy Mummy, but
Yeah,
wow.
Yummy Mummy is basically the same cereal, but with vanilla flavored Marbits or Sweeties, as General Mills like to call them. Yeah, that was a kind of a landmark in my childhood when they brought in Fruity Yummy Mummy. That was late 80s. I want to say 1989.
And gentlemen, on that note, all is well.
Yes, Fruit Brute is a favorite of Quentin Tarantino. He likes to squeeze a box of Fruit Brute into the background of most, if not all, of the movies he shoots.
God, I've never even seen Fruit Brute.
Wow. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I see. I was not a sugared cereal kid because my mom didn't let me. So I missed out on a lot of this outside of the advertising that would be on like Saturday morning TV. So I completely missed out on Fruit Brute.
Well, in every Halloween period, they re-release. Well, they re-release 3 of those cereals.
Yes.
Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Blueberry. So
Yep, they did a special anniversary edition in which they brought back in brand name only Fruit Brute and Fruity Yummy Mummy. I think Mummy was done as an orange cream flavored cereal, and Fruit Brute is cherry flavored as opposed to the multi fruity flavored.
magnificent.
Yes, that they went with the first time around. And don't feel bad about missing Fruit Brute because I did too, Ian. It only lasted a couple of years in the 70s.
I never knew about it. Well done.
Long gone before I were born.
So Count Chocula was the one that lasted the longest, right? Because I remember that being like outside of the the holidays cereal for quite some time.
I have a box in my pantry because every Halloween I buy a couple.
Nice. So, all right, excellent. Well, job well done all around, gents. And once again, we have made it through a previous catalog with plenty of time for you guys to spend your money on comics.
We'll bring it to you a little bit early this month.
Yep.
Indeed. Yep. And a reminder once again that we thank you, the listeners that didn't do the point earlier, you, the listeners over at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak for your continued support of the show. All 118 of you currently at $338 per month. We thank you so much. And the old school way of donating is still available to you as well over at comicgeekspeak.com/donate.php. And if you do not have the monetary means to do so, fear not. You can send us an iTunes review and just spread the word about the show any way you can. That matters just as much as anything.
Thank you.
Indeed. All right, so I can't just call Shane up out of nowhere to end the show. But before I do, a reminder, Murd, of the date one last time for the best of.
Yes, to submit your nominations for the Best of Awards, get them into bestof@comicgeekspeak.com via email by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on March 13th. That is a Sunday.
Excellent. Remember that. Put that on your calendars, people. Put that on your calendars. Can't possibly forget that. Excellent. All right. And with that, as I bring up the usual artwork, I will hand it over to replacement Shane. Murd, the floor is yours to close us out.
If you'd like to send us an email, you can send it to comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. If you'd rather leave a voicemail, you can call 267-702-6642. You can like us on Facebook and also join our Comic Geek Speak supergroup there to leave feedback about this and many other episodes, or just to start conversation threads about any geeky topic you like. You can also follow us on Twitter, where our handle is @ComicGeekSpeak. You can go to thecomicforums.vanillacommunity.com, which is our current and original online forum space, where you can also leave feedback about various shows and just talk to your fellow CGS listeners and friends about various things. You can go to youtube.com/comicgeekspeak, where you can see the video version of this and many other episodes of our podcast. It's a big help when we're going through the previews catalog to see what we're talking about after all, so if you can, give that a try. We'd like to give special thanks, as always, to those of you who have donated to the show monetarily via Patreon or any other pay format you choose. We truly appreciate it, and the show would not be what it is today without your ongoing support. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.
Bon voyage, Levy Pooh.
Hi, have a beautiful time.